You have found a dead bird in your yard. Most people have, maybe at the base of a window. That silent, disorienting impact you heard from another room and then investigated. Maybe near the feeder, the bird just there against the fence line. Wings at an angle that doesn't belong. You looked at it for a moment. Then you looked at the other birds still moving through your yard. The chickadee hitting the feeder, the sparrows in the shrubs, the cardinal on the wire. None of them were reacting. None of them were looking. The dead bird was on the ground, and the living birds were within feet of it, doing what birds always seem to be doing, and it seemed like the clearest possible demonstration of something most people already believe about animals. That death means nothing to them. That the bird on the ground was simply no longer part of their world, not processed, not noticed, not mourned, just gone from the calculation the way an old leaf goes from the calculation. You assumed what almost everyone assumes, that for a bird, death is background, something that happens and then stops happening and is not thought about again. That assumption is wrong. Not entirely wrong, and not in the way you might expect, but in several specific, documented, and deeply strange ways. It is wrong in a direction that will permanently change what you think you are watching when you see birds moving through your yard near a body that used to be one of them. Welcome back to Wild Bird Whisper. Subscribe before you leave, because what you are about to learn has been happening in your yard every time a bird has died near other birds, and you have had no idea what you were watching. Today we are going into what birds actually do with dead birds, what different species do differently and why, what researchers initially could not categorize and eventually documented in detail, and what is actually happening right now in your yard if a dead bird is anywhere near where your living birds are feeding. Stay until the end, because the last thing we cover is what you should never do when you find a dead bird in your yard. Almost everyone does it, and the effect it has on the birds still living there is the opposite of what you intend. Number 1, the body is information. When a bird dies in or near a group of others, the surviving birds do not uniformly ignore it. In corvids specifically, they do something that has been documented extensively and that researchers initially struggled to classify. They gather around it. American crows, when they find a dead crow, exhibit a behavior that has been described in popular media as a funeral. That description is not entirely wrong, but it is not entirely right either. What the crows actually do is this: they land near the body. They call, loudly and persistently. Other crows arrive, sometimes from considerable distances, drawn in by the calling. The group surrounding a dead crow can number in the dozens. They stay for several minutes, sometimes longer. The body is not touched. Nothing is removed. Nothing is brought to it. Then the gathering ends. The crows leave. The body remains where it was. When researchers at the University of Washington documented this systematically, the same lab that produced the facial recognition studies we have covered before, what they found was this: the gathering is not grief, it is threat assessment. The presence of a dead crow in a location is information. Something killed this bird here. Whatever killed it may still be present or may return. The alarm calling during the gathering broadcasts that information to every crow within earshot. Avoid this location. A predator capable of killing one of us has used this space. Research published in Animal Behavior found that American crows exposed to a dead crow in a specific location subsequently avoided that location for weeks. Crows exposed to a dead pigeon in the same location did not show the same avoidance at the same rate. The dead crow triggered a threat response that the dead pigeon did not. The crows were not reacting to death as an abstract event. They were reacting to the death of one of their own in a place where they themselves might die. The body is a warning marker. The gathering is how the warning is distributed across the group. When you find a dead bird in your yard and watch the other birds going about their lives around it, some of those birds have already registered the body, assessed what it signals, and adjusted their behavior in ways you are not reading correctly. Number 2, what the smaller birds do. Corvids are the most extensively studied in the context of dead conspecific response, but they are not the only species that react. Songbirds do too. The mechanism differs. The behavior looks different. The function is the same. When a small songbird encounters a dead bird, particularly a dead bird of its own species, the most common documented response is alarm calling, not the short, sharp chip call that signals a motionless hawk perched at the yard's edge. A different call, longer, more sustained, with the same acoustic structure as an active mobbing call. The dead bird triggers a response typically reserved for active predator presence. This is not irrational. A dead bird on the ground near a feeder is evidence that a predator capable of killing that species has been in that exact location recently. The alarm call is accurate. The threat is real. The fact that the predator is no longer visible does not mean it has not been there. Research from the Max Planck Institute for Ornithology found that when small passerines were exposed to a dead conspecific in a feeding area, feeder use in that immediate zone dropped significantly in the hours following discovery. The birds did not abandon the feeder outright, but they spent more time in vigilance postures, took shorter feeding bouts, paused more frequently to scan, and left more abruptly after landing. The dead bird had recalibrated the perceived risk of that specific location. What this looks like from your window is birds at the feeder that seem off, jittery, landing and leaving without feeding through, calling at nothing you can identify. What you are watching is not random. It is a risk response triggered by information sitting on the ground below your line of sight. The birds read it, you did not. Number 3, the scavenger logic. There is a third response to dead birds that runs in a direction completely opposite to everything the previous 2 sections suggest. Some birds eat dead birds, not commonly, not across species, but the behavior is documented, and when it occurs, it is not confusion, it is not a failure of recognition, it is a resource decision operating on a different logic entirely. American crows, the same birds that gather in apparent alarm around dead crows, will consume dead birds of other species under the right conditions. Great horned owls cache prey, including birds, and return to feed on them across multiple days. Gulls are generalist scavengers that will take dead birds opportunistically. What matters is the distinction the bird is making. Research on crow behavior found that crows consistently distinguish dead crows, which they do not eat and which trigger the gathering response, from dead birds of other species which they may consume without triggering the same social behavior. These are not contradictions in the same system. They are 2 different systems running in parallel. One is social threat response. One is resource acquisition. They are governed by different inputs and produce different outputs. A crow that participates in a gathering around a dead crow will, given appropriate conditions, eat a dead house sparrow 20 feet away. The species identity of the dead bird determines which system activates. For the birds in your yard, the practical implication is this: if you find a dead bird and leave it in place, different species will respond to it differently. Some will alarm call and avoid the area. Some will assess it, conclude it does not indicate active predator risk, and return to normal activity. A few species may investigate it as potential nutrition. The yard is not processing this as a single unified event. Each bird is processing the information the dead bird carries relative to its own survival situation. Number 4, what the body tells them. Here is the part most people have never considered. A dead bird is not just a signal that something dangerous happened in this location. In some cases, it is a signal about the specific nature of what happened, and the birds near it may be reading that distinction. The position of the body encodes information. The condition of the feathers encodes information. The presence or absence of external wounds, the site where the bird was found, the degree of feather disruption. All of it is legible to a species that has been reading predator sign for millions of years. A bird killed by a window strike typically lands directly beneath the glass with feathers intact and no external wounds. A bird killed by a sharp-shinned hawk typically shows breast plucking, feathers removed during or before consumption. A bird killed by a domestic cat frequently shows puncture wounds and full or partial removal from the original kill site. These are different signatures, and research on predator recognition in birds has found that some species can assess these differences and respond to them differently. Crow research has documented the ability of individual birds to discriminate between taxidermied crow specimens posed in different positions, responding with measurably different alarm intensities to poses consistent with predator kills versus poses consistent with collision death. The response to a collision-dead crow is real, but shorter and less intense than the response to a predator-killed crow. The birds are not reading death as a binary event. They are reading cause of death and calibrating their alarm accordingly. The birds in your yard that appear to be going about their business near the dead bird at the base of your window may be doing something more specific than ignoring it. They may have read the body and concluded that what killed it was not a predator they need to flee. The window kill does not indicate a hawk worked this yard this morning. The birds may be making that distinction. What looks like indifference may be a calibrated response to a specific type of death, not absence of reading, a different reading than you expected. Number 5, what you should never do. When most people find a dead bird in their yard, particularly at the base of a window, they remove it. The instinct is immediate and understandable: to clean up, to restore the yard to normal, to take the thing that doesn't belong and put it where it belongs, which is somewhere out of sight. This instinct is wrong. In this specific situation, it is the single most counterproductive thing you can do for the living birds that remain. Window strikes are one of the leading causes of bird mortality in North America. Estimates range from 300 million to 1 billion birds killed by window collisions in the United States annually. A significant portion of that total involves repeat strikes at the same windows. A window that kills one bird tends to kill birds at the same location again. The glass does not appear as glass to a bird in flight. It reflects sky or vegetation. The bird approaching it sees what looks like a continuation of the environment it is already moving through. It does not see a barrier until the barrier kills it. The dead bird left in place below that window generates exactly the alarm and avoidance response we have been covering throughout this video. The birds that see it will treat that location as elevated risk. Some research suggests they will alter their approach routes to avoid the specific flight path that ends at that glass. The body, left where it fell for a period of time, communicates danger at that location in a way that no film, no tape, no decal you apply to the glass will communicate as immediately or as effectively. The living birds learn it from the dead one. There are practical boundaries to this. A dead bird left indefinitely becomes a disease risk and draws scavengers that may cause other problems in your yard. It should not remain for weeks, but the reflex to remove it within minutes, to get the yard looking right again as quickly as possible, actively destroys the information the remaining birds are relying on. The body is a warning. Removing the body removes the warning. Leave it for several hours at minimum. Let the birds that use your feeder, your bath, and your yard see it and register it and do what they do with that information. Then remove it, wearing gloves, and dispose of it appropriately. The sequence matters. The lesson the dead bird teaches the living ones cannot be taught any other way. What you see when you look out the window at birds moving through your yard near a dead bird is not indifference. It is not the absence of awareness. It is a set of species, specific, information-driven responses to a data point that every bird in the vicinity is processing on its own terms. Some are calling and distributing threat information to every bird within range. Some are reading the body for cause of death and adjusting their risk assessment for that specific location. Some are deciding whether the body represents a resource. None of them are ignoring it the way you assumed. They were never ignoring it. The birds in your yard know things about death that you have not been giving them credit for. They know what a body in a specific location means for where they feed and how long they stay. They know the difference between a death that signals active predator presence and one that does not. They know to call, who to call to, what the call means. They remember, individually, the locations where death has happened. Some of them remember the faces of the beings they associate with danger and pass that information to other members of their group. They are not simple animals doing simple things. They are reading your yard. Constantly, with tools that are older than the yard, older than the street, older than the species of tree your window looks out at. The dead bird on the ground is part of that reading. Now, so are you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever found a dead bird in your yard and watched how the birds still living there responded? Did they call, gather, avoid the area, or do something you couldn't explain at the time? I want to hear about it. I read everyone. I'll see you in the next.